Hey guys, I am back with another conspiracy theory. I am presenting to you Paul Walker. A lot of people think open and closed, that car accident, right? A lot of people don't. You guys know I don't feel well and my back is killing me. So if I seem tired or whatever, I took a muscle relaxer just so I can sit because my back just kills. And you know that I must be pretty bad if I'm wearing my glasses. I never wear my glasses. I mean, I will scratch a cornea with my contacts before I wear my glasses. So, and also, I want your guys' opinion. Which frames do you think are better? Number one or number two? I mean, they're pretty much the same, but it helped me out, I guess, because I have so many pairs that are almost the same. But anyway, I'm going to go with number one, but just put one or two. It would help me out a lot. So, thanks, guys. Okay, we're going to get into Paul William Walker IV. He was born, let's see, September 12th, 1973. And he was active in Hollywood from 1975 till he passed in 2013. He was on shows like The Young and the Restless, Touched by an Angel, Highway to Heaven, Who's the Boss? He did commercials like for Pampers. His first movie was Monster in the Closet, and I believe that was like 1987, or I think he's like 12 or something in that. Let's see. In 1998, he got his feature film debut, Meet the Deedles, which led into supporting roles like Pleasantville, Varsity Blues, She's All That, and The Skulls. I remember all these growing up. I mean, I was like 10, and I always thought he was gorgeous and wanted to go see movies with Paul Walker. So, in 2001, he got his breakthrough role with playing Brian Connor in Fast and the Furious, and that's his role that he's most known for. And then soon after, he got roles like Joyride, which is, I love that movie, Into the Blue, and the rest of the Fast and the Furious franchise. So, we are going to talk about his death. I'm going to put pictures in here as well, so I will show them to you. I don't know if I can get them all at once or if they'll all be at the end, but just pay attention to what I'm saying, and then when you see the pictures, look at them and kind of make up your own mind. I never want to force an opinion down someone's throat. I always want them to kind of come to their own conclusion. So, Paul Walker, when he left his charity event, that's where he was leaving that day. He's at an event for his charity, Reach Out Worldwide. He was driving a Porsche. Well, he wasn't. His friend Roger Rodas was. Their license plate was 7 CCY590. When you look at the picture of the crashed Porsche, the license plate is different. And it's like, why did they swap the license plate? I mean, it makes no sense, right? And let's see. The car actually hit 5 trees, but what made it finally burst into a fireball was a light post. And if you notice the trees around it, I mean, you see the fireball, but none of the leaves were singed. None of them were burned. They were just regular leaves, which is weird. So, and then they also say the crash video, they believe it was doctored. So, there's that too. And it took 60 seconds for that car to ignite. So they had 60 seconds to essentially get out, and they didn't. Paul Walker was the passenger of the vehicle, and he died from trauma and thermal trauma. So basically breathing in smoke inhalation, burning his trachea, his esophagus. And the sad thing is he lived briefly after the crash, so he was alive when the car burst into flames, which is extremely heartbreaking. Paul's tox screen was clean. And here's another interesting fact. Southern California, they practice drone missile strikes, and they believe that's what happened to the car. Okay, Toot, hello there. Because if you look at the car, it looks almost melted into the ground. It doesn't look like a normal car crash. And anyone that knows vehicles, anything about them, I mean, look at Porsches. Most of their engines are mid to rear of the vehicle. So it's like everything's intact, or everything but the engine is intact. Like the engine's still fine, but everything else is melted. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand if that's what made it blow up. Why is the engine still there? I don't understand it. And they also claim that Family Guy predicted Paul Walker's death because of Brian the dog. I'm not really a huge Family Guy watcher, but I remember them saying that. And ironically, Paul Walker, he died November 30th at 3:30. It was a Saturday. The Friday before, I remember it was like Access Hollywood was reporting that Paul Walker died. Well, it ended up not being true. But why would they make such a weird mistake when the very next day, at the very exact same time, he'd be dead? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So, here's a few things about Paul Walker. He was a humanitarian. He was an awesome person from what I read. He had co-founded Reach Out Worldwide. It's a charity that, it's kind of like the Red Cross. When disasters strike, he goes in with his charity and helps people. He founded that in 2010 after Haiti. So, let's see. Sorry, I'm going through my notes and whatever. There's a lot that I want to get into that is just bizarre. So, Paul died November 30th at 3:30, 2013 on Hercules Street. Like I said, the car struck 5 trees but hit the lamppost. This is really weird. Paul was in a total of 33 movies, and he died 11:30, November 30th, at 3:30 p.m. A lot of people don't know this, but 3 is basically, it's a important number in devil worship, Satanism. I know this is kind of far-fetched and going out there, but hear me out. So, it says 3 is the same as 666, like the Antichrist. Occultists used 333 as a hidden symbol by which they present as more offensive than 666. So to occultists, 333 is worse than 666. So numerology is huge in the Illuminati. And the Illuminati, they are everywhere, but mainly in Hollywood. They control everything. So I think it's weird that Paul was in 33 movies, died at 3:30 on November 30th. Another thing with that is really weird too is the name of the street, Hercules Street, is like off of Constellation Avenue or whatever. And those are huge with Illuminati too. Like Illuminati is full of symbolism. So there's just all these correlations that are weird. Another thing in Satanism, devil worship, whatever, is the number 11. It's a sacred number. So when it's multiplied by the perfect number 3, 33 is produced, obviously, tremendous occult importance. So that makes it even weirder that he died 11:30. And then, 33, the number of movies he is in. And here's a little fact, too. In 1933, both Hitler and Franklin Delano Roosevelt came to power. So it's just a lot of symbolism with numbers. And the Illuminati, I believe it started in 1775. And one of their main missions is population control. Right now, the world is at between 7 and 8 billion, I believe. They want it down to as low as 500,000. So I have some stuff written up that I'm going to read. Okay, I found this document. It says, Paul Walker conspiracy theories link crash to Brian the dog from Family Guy and the Illuminati. It says, how does they will kill him? Theories range via breaks into a sabotage fuel range all the way. Approximately a new missile fired through an unmanned drone. Another conspiracy theory targets Walker's friend Roger Rodas, and also nearly sounds just as a plot from Fast and Furious movie. A commentator in the YouTube video through user Paul Gardner explains this theory as well. One story heading about offers Paul Walker being killed from the Illuminati, an organization in which supposedly controls the planet from the shadows, the particular LA. Why would they tend to be doing this? Such as many celebs, including Tim Tebow, Walker ended up working with typhoon relief efforts inside the Philippines. And also your worst in the Paul Walker conspiracy theories say to make sure only a marketing and advertising hoax. But none regarding these suggestions, whereas weird, since the conspiracy theories admitted to end up being able to link Paul Walker along with Brian, your dog. Despite just about any attempts at explaining the circumstances, we do know regarding sure Paul Walker's cause associated with death, unfortunate since it might be. Supposedly, the Illuminati has been trying to poison medicine, heading towards the country along with birth control that might neuter the populace, and Walker discovered about it. Using fast along with Furious 7, just across the corner, the issue remains, is his death real, or is it possible it's just another worldwide web hoax? And individuals about Facebook even began discussing about how famous deaths tend to happen within threes, with Nelson Mandela among them. The particular idea is that since Rhodas expended any large quantity of amount regarding moment in Central America, he could happen for you to be approached simply by drug cartels wanting him to complete money laundering via among Rhodas charities. It's declared ultimately the particular fire caused from the impact ended up being the cause for death. As formerly reported by simply your inquisitor, your death regarding Brian, your dog, resulted in conspiracy theories stating Seth MacFarlane may well attempt to quit Family Guy. So what I also read was why Paul Walker left his charity event was he found out the supplies he got. I believe they were going to, was it Indonesia or Malaysia? I'm not quite sure. But the supplies he got were basically bunk supplies. They wanted to sterilize people, which mentions in here. And like I said, with Illuminati, they want population control. So from what I read, Paul allegedly found out, and him and Roger were going to meet and get the real supplies. Well, they didn't end up making it. And that's, it's a way to keep it hush-hush that it never happened. And, car accidents happen all the time. But I just found it crazy that, it's possible. So I want to mention some other things that made Paul Walker super special. At the time of his death, he had a 15-year-old daughter, Meadow. And actually, Meadow was living with Paul instead of her mother in Hawaii. Me being a girl, there's no way I would live with my dad during my teenage years. So that says something special about him, that she chose to live with him and spend her teenage years with her dad. And she actually tried to sue Porsche for the seatbelt malfunction. And I believe, hold on, because Porsche, had he been able to, there was 60 seconds he could have got out. So, that was huge. And, it's sad. So, where is that? Okay. His daughter was 15 years old when he died. Her and Porsche actually reached an agreement, and it's undisclosed amount. So, seatbelt placement can cause harm upon impact. So, that's why they reached an undisclosed amount. So, she did get a settlement because she believed had her father been able to get out, he may have survived, which is heartbreaking because, I couldn't imagine. So, some other reasons why Paul Walker was awesome. I'm going to read this. Tales of Walker's philanthropy are not new. CNN confirmed one story from a decade ago when Walker noticed a young U.S. soldier shopping with his fiancée for a wedding ring in Santa Barbara jewelry store. The groom just got back from duty in Iraq, and he was going to be deployed again soon and wanted to buy a wedding ring, but he said he could not afford it, saleswoman Irene King told CNN. I don't think the soldier realized how expensive those rings are, about $10,000. The couple apparently did not know who Walker was, King said. Walker called the manager over and said, "Put that girl's ring on my tab," she said. Walker left all his billing info, and it was a done deal. The couple was stunned. She was thrilled and could not believe someone did this. Paul wasn't someone who would just write a check and lend his name to an organization. He was the heart and soul of Reach Out Worldwide. Paul was he was the first one in and the last one out. He led by example, and his hard work and dedication inspired everyone who had the privilege of working with him. He led one of the first teams into the hardest hit areas of Haiti and traveled to Chile to bring water, medical aid, and hope that the earthquake and tsunami. He ran a chainsaw, clearing debris and helping people get back into their homes during the hottest days after the tornadoes in Alabama. Some people play hero. Paul was a hero. Paul was an honorable, hardworking, dedicated, respectful man with a humble spirit who shared his blessings with those who needed it most. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to work with, learn and look up to someone who walked the walk. J.D. Dorfman, Reach Out Worldwide. Paul Walker was truly an amazing person, and his impact will forever be felt. As the Reach Out Worldwide family mourns the loss of our founder, leader, brother, and friend, we pledge to carry out his dream of helping those when they need it most. Paul's legacy and goodwill lives on through Reach Out Worldwide. And when he passed, he was in the middle of making Fast and Furious 7. So his two brothers, Caleb and Cody, filled in for him with CGI, which it's scary how much they look alike. I mean, already, but then to put CGI to it. And also, they took over Paul's legacy for Reach Out Worldwide, so it's still continuing. So the thing is, if you donate to Reach Out Worldwide, 100% goes to them. It's not some charities where you give $100 and maybe, $1 will go to the charity. 100% will. So I'm just putting that out there that, it's an amazing, amazing charity. So I wanted to put that out there, and let's see. I'm going to read another article about the ring, too. Let's see. Kyle Upham and his fiancée were browsing a jewelry store in Santa Barbara in 2004, just before Kyle was deployed to Iraq for a second tour of duty, when a fellow shopper began to help them with their engagement ring purchase. I noticed there was someone in there, but didn't give it much thought, and we started looking at rings and whatnot, and he kept saying, "Go bigger," and I kept saying, "No, look at the prices." Kristen Upham, who is now married to Kyle, says. Kyle began talking with the stranger and realized it was Paul Walker. After Walker found out that Upham was about to be deployed, he took matters into his own hands. The couple left the store without the $9,000 ring, but the saleswoman called them and told them to come back. One of the ladies came out holding a bag and just said, "Here's your ring." I think both of our mouths dropped, Kristen says. The couple suspected that the gift was Walker's doing, but the employees at the store would not reveal the gifter. When the jewelry store clerk told her the story on CBS Monday, the Upham suspicions were confirmed. It's still to this day the most generous thing anyone has ever done for me, Kristen says. Because for the longest time, they didn't know Paul did that until after he passed. And I think that's so amazing because there's so many people that will do stuff and they want the credit. They don't want to do it just out of goodwill. They want the credit, like, "Oh, look at me. I just bought, strangers a $9,000 ring." He really did not want anyone knowing. So when he passed and word got out that he did that, I just found that completely amazing. So Paul Walker just seems like all-around amazing guy. And I was watching some interviews where, obviously they're interviewing him, and he wanted to take an EMT class at UCLA because when he went to places, he wanted to actually administer medical attention and help people instead of, not being able to do as much as he could, because he looked into it and he said he could take a 3-week course at UCLA and become an EMT, and he was moving towards that goal when he passed. So my question for you guys is, what do you think? Do you think it was murder? Do you think it was just simply an accident? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and comment down below. I love interacting with you guys. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to end it there, and, rest in peace, Paul, because you seem like such a great guy. The world needs more people in it like Paul Walker. So on that note, guys, take care and have a good one. Bye.